It was an experience that I will never ever forget in my whole life. It was one of the most surreal experiences. I was with Mike Tyson, there was Frank Bruno there, and I think it might have been Marco Antonio Barrera. We were all walking up together. Like, we were the first ones there on this picture, and we were standing around, and Mike Tyson was getting antsy, and he was like, "Come on, we're waiting. What's taking so long?" And he was getting pissed off. So I get my phone out and I'm doing a selfie, right? And I've got Mike Tyson behind us kicking off like, "What the fuck's happening? Come on, let's go, let's go." You've probably heard the phrase, you're the average of the 5 people you hang around with the most. Have you heard that before? Right? Who's influencing you the most? Now, celebrities following us. Like, it was mad because 2 weeks ago, in 1 week, Chris Hemsworth, Conor McGregor, and Snoop Dogg all followed us. I ended up getting invited onto a yacht, and everyone on that boat was about 10 years younger than me. And I was the poorest on there by far. And all these young lads are doing big, massive things online.
Right, today we are back with Tony Jeffries. Obviously, we've already had you on the show, mate. And I've been desperate to get you back on because you, out of all the guests I've ever had, do more things that I don't even know how you manage to do the things you do when you travel in the world. Have you took your kids out to school and all?
Kids, yeah, they've been world schooled, which is a hippie thing to say, where they're learning from different cultures and environments from around the world, as well as doing some normal curriculum at home with our lass, with Sarah.
What's the reason behind that? Because I think like a lot of people's eyes are getting opened to the world schooling or the homeschooling. It's certainly, even when I look at the education system in England, I'm thinking I'd probably rather homeschool my daughter. Wouldn't have the foggiest on how to start. But where did that idea come from for you?
Well, it was kind of with all the COVID situation when we were living in Los Angeles, and the kids were getting homeschooled anyway. And then when we had to send them back to school, they were wearing masks and all that, which we weren't fans of. And it just opened our eyes to homeschooling and being able to do that. And then we got the idea about, well, you know, shall we start doing some traveling? Because I was traveling a lot with work. Sarah was coming with the kids, and it was great. And we looked more and more into traveling the world and homeschooling, being nomads. And then, like, I figured out, like, you know, I'm actually earning all my money online now, and so is Sarah. But we were living in Los Angeles, stuck in the normal day-to-day life routine, and it was costing us an absolute fortune to live there when we could live anywhere else in the world. Mm-hmm. And with the kids doing some homeschooling already, we knew that we could be successful with that. It was just a matter of, you know, getting rid of our house that we were renting in LA, getting rid of all our stuff and putting in storage, and then taking the risk and doing something that not many people do, and just traveling the bloody world.
how the question I ask you, how do you know it's going to work? You know, the homeschooling thing. Right. Like, is there anyone that you look at and go, well, they're doing it and they're doing a great job? Or I know you said you took a risk doing it, which, you know, I'm assuming like it's going to be the right risk, because you can tell you're an intelligent bloke. You know, I guarantee your kids are going to grow up all right, regardless. So I feel like for you, it's probably, you know, I understand why you've done it. Right. But was there anyone you looked at where you thought, actually, they're doing it all right? What's happening, guys? I hope you're enjoying the episode so far. If you are, please hit that like, hit the subscribe button, and press the notification bell so you don't miss another episode. No,
so, I mean, the question, what you first asked there was, how do we know homeschooling is going to work, right? Mm-hmm. How do we know that's going to help the kids and develop them into great human beings that we want them to be? But my question back to you would be, how do you know traditional way of schooling is going to work? Because fair enough. I know that you know people, mm-hmm. and I know people. Everyone who's listening to this knows people whose kids have done the traditional way of schooling and they've turned out not so great. Mm-hmm. So what we're doing with the homeschooling might not work, but traditional way of schooling might not work, you know. But we believe what we're doing right now is the right thing to do with our kids. I've done lots of research into traditional schooling compared to homeschooling and world schooling, and I like the world schooling idea a lot better. Like, and I don't want to shit on traditional schooling a lot, because, you know, that's what I went through. Even though I didn't do great at it, I've ended up coming out all right on the other end. But like, there's a lot of people out there that might be wanting to do homeschooling or world schooling, but just can't, you know. So I don't want to shit on the traditional too much, because to be able to homeschool your kids, you obviously need to be able to you obviously need to not have a commitment in work, or you don't have to work for yourself to be able to do that, where most people don't do that. But I just think with traditional schooling, you know, the person who's teaching your kids, as far as I know, needs a master's in teaching. Now, my sister's got a master's in education, in teaching. She teaches in prisons, in jails, right? And I think her master's is in what's it in? A master's degree? It's just a bachelor's in, it's a bachelor's in teaching. I think she done it in beauty, but because she's got this degree, she could teach kids science. She doesn't know anything about science, but she could. She could teach the kids mathematics, and she hasn't got a clue about that, but she's good at doing what she does. Yeah. So basically, the government is telling you who can teach your kids. They're telling them what to teach your kids, and then in traditional schools as well, I think it's common knowledge to know that the main thing that they are working on is passing tests to make the schools look good. So you've got people teaching your children how to pass tests. That's not going to help them in everyday life. Yeah, of course, because you didn't get, well, I know you don't get taught about money, tax. No, nothing like that. Relationships, there's things that you need to know and you didn't get taught. Yeah, there's so much where I'm teaching my 9-year-old now about marketing and how to build a business. But Tony, you're a bit of a marketing guru though. Like you aren't the normal lad. I know you're a lad from Sunderland like myself, but you're still not, I'm not saying you're not the normal lad, but you've went on to achieve things that a lot of people aren't achieving. And I imagine that's part of the reason why you're homeschooling, because you've got the ability to travel the world and all that. And I get you've worked for that. With that being said, do you feel like you need to be in a certain location to do that? Because would you homeschool your kids if you still lived in Sunderland but worked online? 100%. I would you? Probably more so homeschool them if I lived in Sunderland, because I mean, just speaking from my experience of the schools where I went to and the way people were and what I'm hearing about schools now, it's like I wouldn't want to put my kids in that environment. Yeah. And you've probably heard the phrase, you're the average of the 5 people you hang around with the most. Have you heard that before? Yeah, of course. Right? Who's influencing you the most? Now, if I sent my kids to a school, I didn't want to, again, shit on Sunderland, but let's just say a school in Sunderland, and now who are they getting influenced by? The kids around them, the 5 best friends. Who's them kids getting influenced by? And it's going to be their parents. Yeah. And then if you look at their parents, nothing against anyone here, I'm not trying to offend anyone, but it's just the way I think. Like, what's their parents doing? Have they got the same beliefs as I've got in life and that sort of thing? Probably not. But let's just say if we went to a school in Dubai, where we've just spent a lot of time there, and you know our kids are now in a school with kids whose parents are from all around the world moving to Dubai to do bigger and better things. But if you know, who they're getting influence from then? Yeah, you know? I get that. And I agree. Already when my kids are around other kids that's not well behaved, like a lot of kids are, their attitude will change like pretty fast, and they'll start to be influenced by them. So we're trying to get them around the right sort of people, which again, it's hard. I know you can't do, and what I'm talking about right now, it might not work. That's the thing. It might not. They might all turn out the way we hope that they don't. But we're doing right now the best that we think we can, and I think anyone out there who's watching this and's got kids and interested in this, what I would say is just do the best that you can do, the best that you believe is for your children, because we never know what will happen. And I agree with you, mate, in everything you've said there, because I'm definitely turned on to that idea of the homeschooling scenario with my little one. But me and the other half, we've looked at, like, do we move to Australia? Do we do this? Do we move down south? Do we even move to another city like Manchester where there's a bit more opportunity? But a lot of it goes back to, I feel a bit like, other than us, in our circles that we hang around with, there's not many people who
think like this. Even my own parents don't think this way. So it's very hard to be like, look, like, because you're not going to get the backing of like, oh, mum, I'm going to move to Australia. Well, why? What's wrong with Sunderland? Like, I'm always going to get that. But it's the only thing I think I'd fear would be when my little one grows up and I went through the homeschooling system, would she miss that thing that other people have had? Right. And that's, I think that would, and maybe that's a negative mindset to have on my part, but I don't know. And again, no one really knows until they've went through that system. And that's why I say, is there any examples? Because it would be nice to see, actually, well, they didn't get schooled, and look what's gone on there. Yeah. Because if someone said to you, when you were young, we're going to take you out of school, you probably would have wanted to go to school. Because you wouldn't understand the politics and all the stuff that you're trying to get away from when you're in school yourself. Because when you're a kid, you don't see that. So I think that's the only side that would worry me, thinking, is she gonna think like she's gonna miss out because of me? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Does that ever cross your mind?
100%. Yeah, and it does. And building relationships up with other kids around them, you know, and getting maybe picked on a little bit here and there. I think that might be good for them, you know, to build resilience. And then I think maybe the wish that we're in school. It always crosses mine and Sarah's minds about that. Are we doing the right thing? We always have these self-doubts kick in. We've got lots of notes on our phone. We've got like a paragraph on our phone talking about why we pulled them out of school and why we're doing this and the reasons behind it and why we think it's better for them. So when we get these self-doubts kick in, we look at that and we say, right, yeah, we're making the right decision. We were in Los Angeles for 12 years, and I've never spoke about this publicly before, but out there in Dubai and a lot of places around the world now, there is, with Instagram, there's a lot of people with lots of money are DMing girls to come round and do sexual things with them all the time. It's happening all the time. And they're getting paid $500, $1,000, $1,500. There's a new Gucci handbag. It's happening all the time. And in Los Angeles, it's becoming a normal thing amongst rich and wealthy men, which they're everywhere now, right? So you see a pretty girl on Instagram, send her a DM, she comes round, you do your business, you just give her a grand, which a grand to these wealthy men's nothing. They then go back, they tell their friends, look at me new handbag I've just getting. Well, how are you doing that? Well, all I do was go and give this old man a quick wank. It took it there. I know. It took 10 minutes. I satisfied him, and
I think that's quick.
That's what I mean. But it is for these, like, or whatever it took. I got a grand. I got a handbag. It's easy, and they're like, but that's prostitution. But it's not. Look, the popular girls are all doing this. So now the unpopular girls, I think, well, I want this new bag. I want this. I want that. And then they're doing it, and then it becomes a normalized thing. Now, I don't care what anyone says. This, I know this is happening all the time in Los Angeles and Dubai and a lot of other places around the world. So I wanted to, as well, we wanted to pull our kids out of that, away from that. You know, not saying that they would do it, but you just
try and keep them away from that potential.
Yeah, just away from them, that influence, and you know. So yeah, that's another reason. That's one of the reasons that's wrote down our phones about that sort of thing. You know.
Because did you live in Dubai for a bit or not? Or you just went there?
We went there for a month, like a month ago.
Is it somewhere you could live?
Yeah, I really liked Dubai. Sarah didn't like it so much because there was no nature, but the opportunities out there and the networking that I did while I was out there was like unbelievable. The best I've ever been in anywhere in the world.
It is amazing. Like, isn't it? How do you, so again, being from where you're from, how do you, and obviously I'm assuming that your mum and dad didn't think like you. I know we mentioned this on the last podcast. You were kind of a little bit different to other people. Obviously the boxing kind of shown what you've done, your commitment, tenacity, how you are as a person. How do you fare in business when you're in places like Dubai? Because these are like the big timers, a lot of these people. I mean, there's a lot of fakes, which I know myself. Yeah. There's a lot of fakes, but I know over there's a lot of people who have real serious money. So how did you kind of find yourself? Did you feel like you were just a small fish over there? Did you feel like, no, like I know who I am, I know what I'm about? Yeah. Did you feel a bit intimidated by the money? How was that for you?
No, I never feel like a small fish anywhere I go. I'm really confident in myself and everything that I've done and I'm doing. But when it comes to money, I think I sent you a message saying this. I ended up getting invited onto a yacht for it was a mastermind group that was on there, but I got invited on with another lad from England who I've met in Thailand, who was doing big things online. And everyone on that boat was about 10 years younger than me.
Yeah.
And I'm 38 now. So they were in the late 20s. And I was the poorest on there by far. And all these young lads are doing big, massive things online. So it's kind of inspiring being around that, and it makes you think about the possibilities that's out there online, which I'm doing online now, and I'm doing well from it, but I thought I was doing well from it until I seen what these boys are doing. So it's inspiring to be around that, and you can see it firsthand.
Well, it's back to that thing, what you just said, isn't it? You're like one of the 5 people who you hang around with.
Exactly.
With you kind of being a bit of a... Because I suppose in a way you're a bit of a lone wolf as well, because, again, you've pulled your kids out of school, you travel in the world, you spend time all over, which is unbelievable. Do you ever fear that you're not surrounded by enough people who's going to give you that?
Yeah, I do. I want to be surrounded by more of the sort of like-minded people. And me and Sarah's got a list of things that we're looking for when we finally do find a place to settle down. And one of the things on the list is be in a place where there's like-minded people like us. You know, that's one on the list that we want to be around.
You're probably not going to be taking Sunderland, are you, on the list?
No, that was on the list, but it had one thing on there that we looked for, which was, you know, community, like a family and community. That was there, but like, I mean, everything else wasn't on the list that we looked for.
Do you ever, because I know a lot of people who are from here, they feel like no matter where they go, they always feel like they want to be back in Sunderland at some point. Do you feel like that or not?
Definitely not.
Do you not?
Definitely not. No, mate.
Do you not miss it at all?
Not at all. Not one bit. The biggest thing for me is the weather. Like, living in warm weather for 10 years, it's made us soft. But at the same time, I get more out of life. I'm more productive when I've got the sun on my back. When we can get up in the morning early, the sun's shining, we have a cup of coffee outside. It's what me and Sarah do every day. You know, it's nice. It sets you up for the day. Then at, 6 p.m. it's still sunny. I think I mentioned this last time on the show.
Yeah, did I?
Where now in Sunderland, it's getting 4:30 and it's dark outside and it's miserable and it's raining and it's cold. The last thing I want to do is come to the Olympian gym and shoot content and build my business even more. So for people who are having success in this part of the world, at any cold place in the world, I take my hat off to them, because it's so hard to do. It really is.
That's unbelievable. That, like, it's funny that, because I feel like a lot of people who I know would love to be in the position that you're in. What I do realise, and what I've recognised, that, and I don't even want to, like, as if it's Sunderland, maybe it's a Northeast thing, maybe it's a UK thing. A lot of people want the things, but no one's prepared to do that kind of graft. When you got invited to that yacht and you did that masterclass, I don't really need to know what masterclass it was, but can you tell us what you learned from doing that? Because obviously you were surrounded by a lot of wealthy people, successful young lads who were smashing it online, and online is the buzzword, right? Everybody wants to do something online. I feel like a lot of people want to do something online because they don't want to work, and I think there's a big difference there. And I think that's a big thing. A lot of people, well, I can just sell a course and do this, and it's like, yeah, but like for me, because I'm putting together something online, which I've told you about off the podcast, but I've did this for 14 years without stopping. So I feel like I'm at a point where now, okay, all the skills I've kind of harnessed over the years, maybe I've got a credible platform to put together, and certainly help people who are just getting into videography or content creation. With you, when you're on that yacht, what types of things did you learn?
So I wasn't part of the mastermind. This is how smart the guy is who put the yacht on. Part of his mastermind was, you're going to be surrounded by cool people on this yacht trip. So I got invited to be one of the cool people. And I got invited from a friend of mine, Leon, who he's got an online business, absolutely killing it now, where he's helping people quit alcohol. He's 30 years old, and he's doing very, very well. And he invited me onto there because it was one of his friends. And yeah, I was around these young kids who were doing things like, one of them, I think he was 23. He was making over $1 million a year by putting sleep sounds on Spotify. He was creating albums and putting these on Spotify. He said he took a year off and he'd still made 750 grand from taking a year off. And he was like, I don't know what to do with my life. And I'm like, bored and blah, blah, blah. Like 23-year-old or something. I was like, wow. But then as well, just being around them people and the lad who put the mastermind on it, it just opened my eyes. Like, he was charging 15 grand a person who went to his mastermind, and he had like 30 people there or something. So it was like, oh, maybe I can do something like this, But there's also out in Dubai, nothing at all to do with that mastermind. I got a DM off someone saying, if you ever come to Dubai, I want to do some boxing with you. And I looked him up, and he's got a big YouTube platform, like 3 million on there. And I messaged him back, I'm like, I'm coming to Dubai. And he went, oh, nice. He said, I'd love to have a meeting with you if you want. I was like, sound. So he went, I'll get my driver to pick you up. This lad's 23 years old. I'm not going to name his name. I'll tell you after the podcast. He's famous. And 23 years old, from the UK, moved to Dubai, killing it. He got us picked up in a Rolls Royce Phantom, or Wraith, was it? I don't know. Took it to a private club, like a members club. 23 years old, and I sat with him for an hour and we had a conversation, and I was absolutely blown away by the things that he was teaching us. A bloody 23-year-old. So being around people like that, it only elevates me, to the next level.
It's mad because I spent a bit of time over there working, and I was pretty much one-way flight, didn't know what to do. I just knew that's where money was, that's where network opportunities were, and people thought I was mental, like just going over there. I'd never been to Dubai in my life, and when I went across, I got there and I went into the first thing I did, I went into the gym, and everybody was open to film. Everyone was like, yeah, let's film, let's get a session in, let's network, do you want to go for a coffee, do you want to go for... Mate, I'd never met these people before, ever. But as soon as they saw that I had the same mindset as them, you kind of all move together. Whereas when you're here or in England, or what I've definitely noticed is, especially with what I do, I find that a lot of people like, well, if you're doing that, then that's you. There's no help. There's nothing you can get pulled from. So you always feel like you're fighting against the grain.
Right.
Thing I noticed about you, obviously you've got an off-white hoodie on. You've been around people your whole life, really, with your success of your career and what you've managed to do in business. I had a guy on the podcast before you. He was a watch dealer, luxury watch dealer, and he's dealt with many famous people around the world. And I asked him a question, and the question I asked was, does having nice clothes or nice things get you access or get you into places? Obviously, I'm just saying I'm a fan of Off-White. I've never actually owned an item of Off-White, but does dressing nicely or having nice things get you into places?
No, I think it just makes you feel good, when you do that. And I'm not really want to splash out on all flash gear and all that, but I think it makes you feel good. But I think if you're up and coming and you're thinking, well, I need to buy a Off-White hoodie or a designer thing to elevate my career, you need to put your work in. You need to put the work in, spend that money invested on hiring someone. Outsource some of your tasks that you do that's pulling you back, rather than spend your 300 quid on or whatever it is on a t-shirt or whatever, so definitely pull back on that. I bought myself a Rolex watch when I was in Dubai. Spent a fortune on it. I would never have done that before, and I've just bought my mum a Range Rover. I don't know if you've seen that.
I've seen that.
So that felt good as well. But I've always been one to hold my money and invest it into myself, into my company, into my business, into my family, into the memories with my family, traveling around the world. And that's what I would advise rather than splurging out on stuff.
So why did you get the watch? Was it just a treat to yourself?
I got it for an investment. I was with my dad, and my dad thinks Rolexes are the big thing and they're hard to get hold of. And we were walking past the Rolex shop. And every time we were walking past the Rolex shop in Dubai, my dad was going in like, oh, have you got any for sale? And they've never got them for sale. Never got them for sale. And this one had some for sale. So I went in and they've said they've just got a shipment in, and then the crowd started coming around, and we were in the shop, and they went, we've only got like 6 watches. Here's one here. And they were waiting for me to see if I wanted it or not before they were going to buy it. So I was like, all right, I'll buy it.
Pressure was on a bit, and you just went for it. What did you get? What Rolex?
I mean, I don't even know. What's the common one? Sports
GMT,
one. There's Yachtmeister, is it?
Aye. Submariner.
It was like 18 grand. So I don't know what it was. I just got it.
Oh, nice.
and I've wore it once, and I'm not going to wear it ever again because I'm so lethargic. I'll lose it. So it's there for investment, and I'll sell it for like £25.
Do you know what I think's unbelievable, mate, about that? Like, I feel like people from Sunderland don't get to have things like that. I know they're just material things, but I've never you know what I mean? We're not from that. So like to see people like yourself get on, it just inspires that many people, mate. And this is why I was passionate about getting you back on, because I wanted to try and come from a bit of a different angle. I want to talk about, obviously, I mentioned the homeschool, and I want to see like the success that you're going on to do and kind of your ideas. So I feel like a lot of people can learn from you. I know you've helped me off camera with maybe like outsourcing stuff or who to go to for what. And I feel like that thirst that you have, I mean, you're relentless creating content. I've seen no one like it, mate. And I know there's people like Alex Hormozi, do you know
yeah,
Alex?
Oh, yeah.
So there's people like him who are like content machines, and I'm seeing another YouTube video, I'm sick of seeing Tony all over my phone. It just constant, but it just goes to show, I mean, even when you're back for a short break for Christmas or whatever, it's like you're creating content. Why have you got that thirst? Because surely you've got enough content to sit on now to not really need to make content. Because the content you make as well, by the way, is quite timeless. Yeah. You're not necessarily making content that's going to be dead tomorrow. You're making content that you could probably repost in a month's time.
Right.
So where does that come from?
Well, the content that I post, it's majority of it's evergreen, meaning it'll last forever. So I've got videos there that I posted like 3 years ago that's getting thousands of views a day right now still. And that's the kind of content I want, because that's the kind of content that will continuously help grow your brand, continuously help bring revenue in. And I'm talking about long form content there. The short form content, yeah, that's a lot of that's been recycled like 4 times.
Yeah.
But I have got thousands of short form videos.
So is there a lot of merit in doing that, to just recycle the same content? So for instance, for me, he's just an example, and I'll tell you, I've got about 50 or 60 reels which I made, just talking head reels, me talking about like how to shoot better content with your iPhone, how to shoot better, and I've posted them. Didn't really do too well. Do you think it's worth posting them again?
Yeah.
Would you put a different spin on them, or just exactly the same video?
If you've got time, put a different spin on them. But what I would advise is post them every platform. And let's talk about Instagram for a minute. I was sick of Instagram a year ago, and I wasn't growing on there. I was actually losing followers. I was growing probably 1,000 followers a month or something, which is terrible. I was posting once every few days. I was thinking, I don't want to keep posting because it'll annoy people and they'll get on the nerves and they'll unfollow us. But then I was like, I'm sick of this platform. So what I did, rather than just stop posting on it, I got me assistant to start scheduling out posts. I post like 2 or 3 times a day now on there, because I've got all the content. And since I've done that, it's blew up. Like me Instagram now, it's
so you actually went more into it.
I just went more into it. I was like, I'm not bothered what people think. And now I'm getting all sorts. I'm getting tons of followers, but all sorts of celebrities following us. Like, it was mad because 2 weeks ago, in 1 week, Chris Hemsworth, Conor McGregor, and Snoop Dogg all followed us.
I seen the Snoop Dogg one, mate. I was fucking buzzing with that. Like.
Yeah. And then there was a couple more big actors.
What do you reckon they're following you for? Like, why is Snoop D-O-double-G following you?
Well, I did a video where I reviewed his boxing, and I said that he was good. So I'm guessing someone sent him that, and he's followed us from that.
Do you ever hope you could work with these type of characters in some way, or is it just like an ego boost, like, oh, Snoop's following us, get in?
I mean, it's good for the ego, it really is. But I would love to work with Snoop Dogg, because I'm a fan. I know Conor McGregor personally. He actually commented on me quick kickboxing when I was trying kickboxing, on me tweet there. And then Chris Hemsworth used to work with him as well years ago, and he sent us a DM asking if I want to, if I'm going to Australia anytime soon. So yeah, I mean, it's great. It's great to be, amongst these people. But you can't let that pull you in a direction and you let it go to your head and get together.
It's kind of funny when you see a lad from Farringdon School getting DMs off Chris Hemsworth and that.
Oh, mad, mate!
It's mental, like.
What
would you say, Tony, is the biggest thing you've learned from posting more content, other than getting a following? What else can you get out of that?
Well, I mean, why would anyone want a following? Like, why do you want a large following? Is it to help more people? Is it to make you more famous so you get recognized on the streets? Is it to make more money? So with me, it's kind of, I guess it's all of them things. I want to build me brand. I want to help more people with boxing, and obviously I want to make more money. Who doesn't want to make more money? And with me doing this, it's doing all three of them things. You know, I'm helping more people, obviously, because more people see my videos, and then I'm bringing more people into me funnel, if you like, which is Instagram. To when I'm ready to sell stuff, I'll be able to sell stuff to them, and then already they're going to me YouTube, which is generating revenue anyway from the ad spend. So that's why I'm building it. But a lot of people build it, you know, just to get famous and for ego. Which
did you learn like bit by bit, or was there ever a point where this was like Japanese to you? Like, well, a funnel, then I've got to get people in the top end, then I've got to sell them on this, and then I can use a link tree, and then I can put all me like, because the way you talk to me, it's just like water off a duck's back. Like, you know, you need to do this, you outsource here, but you've got a lot of staff working for you, effectively. So like, again, you know what I mean? Obviously, I know you've did business when you were younger and stuff, but the online world's the landscape's completely different. So how do you learn what you know? Is it are you the type of person who just gives it a go? Or are you just like, no, I need to know like methodically exactly what to do here, or I'm not gonna?
So it's funny, if anyone ever tells me, oh, I don't know how to do that, I'm like, shut up, dickhead. Like, go on YouTube and type it in and it'll tell you straight away. Like, I've learned everything just about through YouTube, through Google, learning myself. And, you know, I think it takes a bit of vision as well. You've got to have a vision to want it and know exactly what you want and what you're going to do and what direction you're going to do.
But did you have that vision? Or that's what I'm saying. Like, because again, all this content, everything you do in your courses and all this stuff that you've got going on. Did you have a vision? Like, if I build a following and I can leverage that and I'll make money this way, or was it just like, no, well, that's grown, so I'll just do more of that?
I didn't think like 5 years ago I'm going to be an online content creator and I'm going to that's going to be my full-time thing. I never thought that, but I give it a go, and when I give it a go, I give it a go.
You went all in.
I give it, well, not all in, because I've got that many things going on. I didn't go all in on anything, but I really put energy into it, and that kind of worked.
Well, it comes across in your videos anyhow.
If it doesn't work, why does it not work? So let's say I do a video and it gets crap views. Why does it get crap views? Well, was I talking too much? Was it too boring?
What's crap views, Tony? Obviously, how many followers you got? You're 400k or something. No, you got more, yeah?
On which platform?
On Insta. Are you in the millions on YouTube, aren't you?
Instagram, I've got about 650k. On my main YouTube channel, I've got 1.95 million, nearly at 2 million. So
if you look at Instagram, right? No, in fact, let's take YouTube. You look at YouTube, you've got 1.5 million on there. What's bad views? Like, what views are you like, fucking hell, didn't really work that?
Like 50,000, 60,000 on a video. Because I've got 1.9 million followers and subscribers. So if I'm getting 50,000, I'm like, what's wrong with that?
Well, if I was getting 50k a video, I think I'd mad it. That's how I think. I wouldn't, because of my mindset. But
I would as well.
But yeah,
when like
when you were smaller,
3 years ago.
Aye.
But now if I'm getting them views, it's like, it's because I put so much effort in them. But then I've got to just think, all right, then, so why is it? Was I blabbering on too much? Was it the topic? Was it the thumbnail? Was it the title?
So how did you get them answers? How do you know?
Like testing, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I would get really deep into YouTube and all that, but like, let's put it this way: how, like, things like talking about the thumbnail on YouTube, the image, what you see when you click on, right? You would have the best video in the world that will be perfect for millions of people, but if that thumbnail is not good, I'm not going to click on that video.
Yeah.
If your title is not good, I'm not going to find your video. I might not find your video, right? So things on the thumbnail that will make it more clickable could be the color of my t-shirt. Could make it more clickable if it was a brighter color. If there's lots of busy things in the back, that could make it less clickable. Yeah. So the amount of time I put into just one thumbnail is ridiculous.
So hearing it from the horse's mouth, and so make your thumbnail less busy, have a catchy title.
Yeah.
Wear something decent.
No,
I know it's not as easy as that.
I mean, it all depends on the video. Like things like negative words will do better. Like I had before, like example is how to perfect your jab. That would be one. And then I changed that to your jab sucks. Yeah. And that one done much better. I had a thumbnail that says how to get better at boxing. Done crap. change the thumbnail, because I test them all the time, change the thumbnail, stop being shit.
So if you change the thumbnail on the video that's still out there, that can help as well.
It can.
If you don't know by now, I run a business called The Content PT. I create content for influencers, PTs, online coaches and fitness brands all around the world. So if you are someone who's in need for sexy content for your social media, or you really want to maintain a competitive edge in your industry, drop me a DM on Instagram.
One thing that you can do is a little tip for you if you're looking at improving your thumbnails is you go on YouTube, just scan through your feed and then just scan through pretty fast and then something will pop out. Right? And if it pops out, you're like, oh, take a screenshot of that, scan through. Something pops out that you want to click on, take a screenshot. And then figure out, well, what's these thumbnails doing that's grabbing my attention?
Yeah, of course.
Right? It could be a lot of different things. It could be the negative words on there. It could be no words. It could be a clean image. There's so many different things that reasons why that could stand out for you.
There's no real hard and fast rule, is there? Then it's just a case of make something that pops.
Yeah,
that's going to grab someone's attention.
So some of them pops, like some of them's like, if you look at someone like Mr. Beast, where he's all colourful and all that, and then like cartoony, like there's that. But then there's the more like raw footage that, let's say if I'm doing a street fighting, a self-defense video, and I put like looks like a CCTV image on that's a bit grainy, that might do well as well, you know.
Yeah, because it looks.
But it's there's so much to go down on YouTube.
We could jump down that wormhole, mate. What I want to ask you about, obviously you were over at the Fury fight, wasn't you, in Ngannou?
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
I want to talk about this. Obviously, your opinion. Obviously, everything you've achieved in the world of boxing, mate. And I value your opinion. I'm personally a big fan of the crossover boxing scene. I wasn't so much at the start. I was more pro boxing, I wasn't really bothered. And then I'm like, now I buy into it. It's just entertainment, man. Like, it's like when I watch two YouTubers fight, mate, it's like seeing two lads fall out the pub and have a scrap. It's funny, innit? Like, you want to, what's going to happen here? Whereas with boxing, there's much more involved. I can appreciate both sides of it. What did you think about that particular fight, Fury versus Ngannou?
I loved it. You know, Tyson Fury. Like, let's talk about before the fight when it got announced. Yeah, I loved it. Like, you've got the UFC heavyweight champion having his first ever boxing match against the world heavyweight boxing champion. Obviously, you think the boxing champion's going to knock him out within a couple of rounds, which I thought. But I just like it. It's entertainment. It's really entertainment. Like, what is going to happen there? Like, Francis Ngannou is the hardest puncher of all time, so people say. Anything can happen in this fight, which makes it more exciting. But obviously, Fury's got the experience. He's a better boxer. He's got better footwork. He's longer. He's taller. So you'd think that Tyson was going to knock him out. But anything can happen. So that's why it kind of grabs attention.
Yeah.
Now I can see why some of the boxing purists like, it's a joke for boxing, and it shouldn't be happening. But then I guess when the fight happened and Francis did well, it's like, wow, look at that. Now Fury's like one of the most disliked men in boxing for that happening. You know what happened? But no, I'm a fan of it. I really am. I think it's good. It's especially good for me because I'm a boxing YouTuber, if you like, where I can create content on it and I can put a story behind it and it can help me.
Did you see the Tommy Fury and KSI fight?
Yeah.
So obviously that nearly went KSI's way. I was actually filming that fight weeks, and so I was doing the whole thing, and I remember sort of seeing both fighters and everything going on that week, and it was mental, it was chaos, but it was class. You had John Fury flipping tables and all the usual shebang with him, and just seeing all the fans come. It was class. It was mint. I'd never ever seen Manchester. In fact, I'd never seen a venue like it, mate. Never mind, the streets of Manchester were absolutely. It was chaos, mate. Do you think had KSI won that, do you think that would have damaged boxing?
No. If KSI won that, I definitely wouldn't have damaged boxing because a lot of boxing purists are saying that Tommy Fury isn't a real boxer. They're saying which he is. You know,
he's just a novice, isn't he? Really,
he's not really experienced, but he's got a Fury name. But it wouldn't ever damage boxing. Definitely not. It would have made boxing more popular, if anything, because it's just going to grab more eyeballs to the sport. More people are going to be talking about boxing. But then you get the purists, I say purists, who are giving it crap and they don't like it for some reason.
What about if it was what about in the Tyson Fury and Ngannou fight? If Ngannou won, do you think that might have heavyweight champion of the world, mate? Are you like he gets done in by a lad who's stepped out of a cage, never had a boxing fight in his life?
Yeah.
Do you think that would have damaged the sport?
I don't think anything else damaged the sport.
Do you not? Because a lot of people said, well, Tyson couldn't have lost. He was never going to lose because of that. There was two. Not saying it's corrupt in any way, but that's how it had to be for boxing.
I don't believe it was corrupt, or I believe Tyson could have actually lost that fight because one judge gave it to the other way. You know, yeah. I don't think anyone thought that Tyson Fury was going to get beat. Even the organisers, so even the organisers are not going to say to the judges, "Listen, you know, don't let Tyson get beat," because he's not going to get beat.
Yeah,
no one expected it to go the way it went. So I don't think anyone got the palms greased.
I suppose Ngannou's stock's gone up then, hasn't he? Fagan's back fighting, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
He's going to get what he wants, isn't he, now?
Yeah, and I'm happy for him because his story is unbelievable. He's where he's come from. So from there to now, I think it's great and fair play to him. And also fair play to Tyson Fury because he's come off the back of that fight, getting all this criticism, and he's like, I haven't got any excuse, you know, because people's waiting for the excuse. What happened to you? Did you not train hard enough? Say, I put 12 weeks in, I trained really hard, I did my best, and that's all you can do. Ngannou was awkward, which he was awkward when you watch him boxing.
What was the experience like when you were out there? You met Tyson? Did you meet Ronaldo or not?
Yeah.
No, did you meet Ronaldo? Or
yeah, I met both Ronaldos, Brazilian.
Yeah. What was it all like? What was that? Obviously, again, you've been around all these types of people before. You've met all, like, I mean, you've got people like Chris Hemsworth in your DMs. You know what I mean? Like, you probably lose that buzz a little bit. But what was it like meeting them types of characters at an event like that?
Well, with like Chris Hemsworth, he's just an actor.
Yeah.
But when I'm in Saudi Arabia and I'm standing right next to Oscar De La Hoya, then behind us is Manny Pacquiao. And then, because we all got a picture took together, have you seen that picture?
I've seen it,
And then behind us was Manny Pacquiao, and then next to him was Mike Tyson. Then just in front of us, where I can touch, is Lennox Lewis. Then Frank Bruno's next to him. Then I'm standing next to Antonio Tarver there. Then Ricky Hatton's 2 people down from me. And I'm around all of these massively famous boxers. And then you got obviously Tyson Fury behind. Ronaldo's on the picture as well. Getting me picture taken with all these at the same time was an experience that I will never, ever forget in my whole life. It was one of the most surreal experiences ever. And I've got some footage that I'm going to post. I haven't posted yet where what happened was when we all were going forward to get this picture took, this picture's going to be famous. There's never been a picture took like it with so many world champions on. I was with Mike Tyson. There was Frank Bruno there. And I think it might have been Marco Antonio Barrera. We were all walking up together. Right, we were the first ones there on this picture, and we were standing around. And Mike Tyson was getting antsy, and he was like, "Come on, we're waiting. What's taking so long?" And he was getting pissed off. So I get my phone out, and I'm doing a selfie, right? And I've got Mike Tyson behind us, kicking off like, "What the fuck's happening? Come on, let's go." I've not released this video yet. I will release it, and it's just like, what the hell's going on here? Then all of a sudden, all these boxers just start coming out from nowhere. Yeah, it was a surreal experience.
That photo, how did that come about? Like, why was that a thing?
So, what's happening in Saudi Arabia? They're trying to get, as far as I know, Saudi Arabia is trying to get their country to be like Dubai, where it's commercialized.
Yeah.
And they're bringing sport there. That's why they're paying the fighters millions to fight there, putting these fight on with Tyson and Ngannou. That wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the Saudi money.
Yeah.
And now the Saudi people are spending millions on promoting this fight. I heard 60 million to promote this fight. They're flying people over from around the world, world champions. I was one of them. I wasn't a world champion, but I got paid to do a video from YouTube.
So you actually got paid to go there?
I got paid to do a video.
Right, okay.
To promote the fight. I did a video, promoted on my YouTube. Then I got flew over there business class, put in a 5-star hotel. Everything was paid for. And also then if you look at the other people who flew over, like all the boxers I named, that was to promote the fight.
Right,
you know?
I see.
And they all getting paid a lot of money to be there. They're promoting it on their social media accounts. And that's when they got the picture. I think.
Do you get imposter syndrome then? Like from all this, like when you're getting all flew business class and you're in these hotels and you're in pictures with Tyson, and like, do you think, fucking hell, should I even be here? Or do you think I deserve to be here? Because clearly you do, because you're there.
I remember being on there when they were calling, and I didn't know this picture was going to take place, and we were all in the big massive room together, and they were saying, all right, if we can get these people to go out onto the stage, and I think they were calling the names out, and they were like, Mike Tyson, Tony Jeffries, and I was like, what the fuck? What's that? And they called my name after Mike Tyson. That's why we went out, and yeah, it was crazy.
Did he know who you were?
No, I didn't think so. But I remember Shannon Briggs, Briggs, he was there, and he was like, Tony Jeffries, he says, I love your videos, man. I went, oh, you see me videos? He went, yeah, man, you're my coach and all that. And I was like, bloody hell. That was good. And he said that when he was standing next to, I think, Lennox Lewis or someone like that, and it was just...
Do you see all them opportunities as an opportunity to network, or do you think, actually, I need to just enjoy this event? Or do you still try and network when you're at these types of places? Well, are you still trying? Are you thinking of your business on that?
You're seeing these types of places. This is the only time I've ever been to a place like this.
But I mean, in general, though, like, if you're in a situation where, I don't know, you're at a masterclass or you're just there to try and absorb and learn, do you think, actually, you know what, I could get some business out of this? Or... You know what I mean? Because I know...
No, that's a good question.
Our lass always takes the mick out of me, mate. We could go for a meal, and the next thing you know, I've somehow had something gone on with a waiter where, like, if your restaurant needs content, because she'll always laugh, and you'll end up doing a video area.
Yeah.
And Ronnie went for a meal.
Right.
But just the way I'm inclined, normally I'll just, I'm interested in people. How do they make money? What do they do?
No, I definitely do. I'm drawn towards networking, and it's just something I do naturally now without thinking about. I treat everyone the same as if I meet a person in the supermarket who I've never met before to a person who's like a multi-millionaire. I'll be nice to both of them, but I'm definitely more drawn towards the person who's doing big things, who I would want to have a longer conversation with, and I want to find out his methods of building and growing, rather than someone who's not, if that makes sense.
With everything that's went on, what we've just talked about with the influencer boxing, the crossover boxing, is that not something you would get into in any way, shape or form? Like have your own promotions or do something like that? Because again, you're connected, you know people in the world. Like, is it not something that you could, or is it because the money's mental? I'm seeing there's people spinning off them type of promotions now and creating their own stuff. Right. Is that not an area you want to tap into?
No. I'm set now with what I'm doing. Last time we did this show in January, which was like, what's that, like 10 months ago now, 11 months ago, some stuff's changed in my business and me things that I'm working on. So back then I was talking about how I can get me gym into multiple businesses, get me boxing classes into multiple gyms, and really blow up. And
it was like a licensing model,
licensing program, and getting thousands of gyms around the world, and really do this and build this business up. And then my goal was in like 5 or 6, 7 years sell this business for millions, and absolutely smash it that way. And I was working really, really hard on that business, and it's still going now. And something happened, and a lot of things changed in my perspective of life and business. And I was in Miami, and we stayed in a great hotel. This was in I think it was in March, and we were right on the beach. Sarah was out with the kids playing on the beach, and I was in the lobby in the hotel on my laptop for like 8 hours a day, just working on this business and trying to build it, trying to hire the right people, and like really zoned in on it. And like my level of happiness kind of dropped a little bit, but I didn't mind, because I know like at the end something's going to happen, and I'm going to be well off. And then I flew back to LA, and for one day, because I was going to do a trade show with this business, promoting it. And when I flew back there, I had a bit of a falling out with my business partner in that, and I ended up flying back to Miami like the next day. And that right there made something switch in my mind. And it was around that time when I heard the story of the Mexican fisherman. Have you heard that?
About the yellowfin tuna?
No.
Was it not? Was it not about yellowfin tuna? And he'd went round and he'd said, "What you gonna do? You need a bigger boat. You get more tuna." And then at the end, he'd end up just doing something that was cheap anyway, type of thing.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But
I heard it as yellowfin tuna.
Yeah, I guess there's lots of different versions of the story where basically it's saying there's a Mexican fisherman who lives by a big lake, and what he does is he'll go fish for a few hours a day, and then he will take them home, he'll eat it with his wife, and they'll cook it, and they'll have a few glasses of wine, then they'll go out on the weekend, they'll dance, they'll have fun, he'll spend his spare time with his kids and, you know, bringing them up, and he's catching these amazing fish. And then one day there's an American businessman comes in, and the American businessman, he's like, "Wow, these fish are amazing." He said, "What you should do is get another boat, rent some, and hire someone to, you know, catch fish and then sell them fish." And the Mexican fisherman like, "Okay, then what?" And he's like, "Well, then you'll be able to get 10 boats, and then you'll be able to build your business and be able to take it to America and take it worldwide." And the Mexican fisherman was like, "Yeah, and then what?" "And then you'll be able to get in the S&P 500, get stocks on it, build it up. That'll take you about 5 or 10 years. You'll be able to sell it for like £5 million." And then the Mexican fisherman's like, "And then what?" "Well, then you'll be able to, you know, spend time with your kids, have glasses of wine with your wife, go dance with her and all that." And he's like, well, I'm doing that now, you know. So anyway, that's the moral of the story. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You've obviously heard it before. Yeah. So that's the moral of the story, and that's exactly what I was doing. I'm doing well online, but now I'm while my kids is there, at a young age, I'm now spending time just working. So in 5 years' time, I'll be able to then sell this company for $10 million or whatever it'll be, and then I'll be able to I'll be able to travel the world with me kids. I will be able to spend time with them. I will be able to spend time with me wife and go out for nice meals. What I'm doing any day, anyway.
Yeah, that's it, like, innit?
And then when I got back from there, that just all resonated with us, and I was like, I'm not going to stop doing that.
Because they say that, don't they? A lot of people, anyone who hasn't got much money, and they say, like, if you had all the money in the world, what would you do? And it's very similar to what they do anyway. So if someone said to me now, I'll give you £100 million in the bank, I'd probably have a nicer lifestyle, but I'd go to the gym. I'd have to have some kind of business going on to keep my mind right. Yeah. And I'd want to see me little and grow up. It's exactly the same. If exactly the same. You put £100 million in my bank, hits us today, what would probably doing the same thing in another area? Yeah. It doesn't really. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's probably arcing on to the fact that it's more about the journey and what you do on the day. Like, can you take, like, it's lovely to know that I can film a podcast and then go and spend 3 hours with the little one and then go to work when I want. And don't get us wrong, mate, it's took a long time to get to that point, but even that it's almost like you're winning. Do you know what I mean? I feel like that's the nugget in life. That's the stuff that people want to. That's what you should aim for, not the money. The money comes with it, I guess, when you work hard. If you know what you're doing, but I don't think it's the focus on the money that should be the thing. It should be what you'd get with that freedom or the time or the money. Do you know what I mean?
Well, like that's kind of what I was thinking about. It was like, if I do build this business, it's going to take a good 5 years to do it. But in 5 years' time, my oldest little girl's going to be 14.
Aye.
And then me next one's going to be 12. So I'm going to sacrifice all these years with them, or should I just do it now? Because now I'm doing well. So I stopped focusing on that business and the education business, and then I put the extra time, which was quite a bit, I put some of that more into my stuff, into my YouTube and my personal brand. And when I did that, like, it's just...
Because it's like diminishing return. Like, it's like you get to a level, don't you? You try and trade great for amazing, but great was good enough. Yeah. Because with great, you come your kids, your wife, all the nice things, but with amazing comes all the sacrifice of all that shit. Right. No, so a lot of people try and trade the good for I want to be the greatest, but actually good's fine. Yeah. It's good to be good, because the majority of people aren't even good. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. I feel like a lot of people want to make £1 million. What does £1 million even mean? Yeah. Yeah. Do you know, what does it really mean? Like, you know, who is the person who's got the £1 million?
I think like, people say that, you know, money doesn't buy happiness, but what it does buy is time, because which is very valuable. like now, like you said, you can. I know for you, you're like working now a little bit, but like you can do what you want. You can come and do a podcast here. You don't have to be working in Morrison's right now, you know, stacking shelves to be able to do your podcast now, which a lot of podcasters are doing. They've got full-time jobs, but then they're not. And then this is the hobby on the side that's costing them money, you know, where you can do this now because you.
I said that the other day, Tony. We had a bit of food in just a place down the road, and we were like, isn't it mad to think it's 2:00 and we're having a bit of food in here? Because I still do that sometimes. I'm like, bloody hell, like I did all them years in Nissan and all the things. And I'm like, fucking hell, like I'd have killed to even just do that. Never mind success and traveling world, and if I had all that, like, but it's just them little things, mate.
Yeah.
What's the future look like for you, Tony?
I'm creating an online course right now to help people get better at boxing. In the past, my online course has been helping personal trainers, you know, develop their personal training skills, which it's still gone. But now I'm doing this to help people get better at boxing again, giving back, but obviously going to make money from it. And then just continuing to work the way I am now and spending time with me family, watching me children grow, traveling the world even more. Yeah, I mean, I'm really over the moon with everything, and like life is good, and I can't complain. And I've never said this before on camera before, and this has gone viral if something happens. But like, if I died today, I'm happy with everything that's happened in my life. I couldn't have imagined that my life would have. I'm gonna cry saying this. I couldn't imagine that my life would have turned out the way it's turned out. I'm good. I'm set. Like, I would much prefer the last 10 years of my life the way it's been than to be working in a job or something that I didn't like. You know, the quality of my life has been unbelievable. Obviously, I've worked my arse off to get here, and it's not been easy. But yeah, I couldn't have wished for a better life.
It's unbelievable, that, bro. And I'm going to ask you the final question, mate. I'm going to ask you what I asked Josh Kelly, actually. And obviously he's got 2 young boys, and you've got 3 girls. Is that right? 3 girls. You know, you've had, you know, you said the last 10 years have been phenomenal, everything you've achieved and stuff. And if, you know, touch wood, mate, if something was to happen, how do you want to be? How would you like your 3 daughters to see you as? You know what I mean? Like, what would you like them to go? And my dad was this. What would that be?
My dad was fun, and he loved us. Because I tell my kids every single day, I love you. You know, so yeah, that's it. And I think they know that. You know, I think they know that. God, mate, I want to cry. What a deep podcast. Have you heard this? What's going on over here?
Tony, mate, thanks so much for your time. Honestly, mate, appreciate it.
Yeah, nice one.
Thank you, mate.